Hey, hello everyone. Okay, today I'll try to continue to expand a little bit on why it seems so difficult to have a better life for ourselves, to overcome our limits and to really do whatever we want in our life. Because I really think it's a matter of how we perceive ourselves and the life surrounding us. So I'll explain. I'm always, in a way, I realize I'm struggling with inside myself. I'm struggling like if I had to struggle with anything at all, because in my head I can think and just imagine and just focus on whatever I want. That's just me, and there's no reason for me to struggle with what, with who. Okay, so what is difficult? It's because in a way, it seems to me like if I was making the surrounding world and the surrounding people and all I can imagine, all I can perceive, whether it's right or wrong, or well, true or false, I mean, it's like if those peoples and those reasons to disagree, to struggle, would come into my head, and then I have difficulties to just focus on what I want in my head, whereas I'm on my own and there's no one to struggle with. It's well, basically it comes to that, and that brings me back to one of my first videos when I was saying that I was feeling like if I had to disobey if I wanted to improve, to change things, to evolve. And why that comes back to what I say now. It's that it seems like if in my head I was struggling with external things that are in my head that prevents me from focusing on what I want, from imagining what I want, from looking in the direction I want, and just being fine with that. It's just me, my choice, and I can be in a way just, focus on one thing, unique in this way, one way, my own way. Okay, and it's not like that. It's like if there are several people and struggling together. That's completely crazy, because it's when I realize that, I can see how in my mind it's just not reflecting, not only reflecting the truth, but in my mind there's nobody. So why am I fighting like if there are several parts of myself? And that's, anyway, that's the explanation of why I have the impression I have to disobey, because I really have, a part of me who is taking it's difficult to say, but like if there was, someone else in my head saying, hey, you don't have the right to do that, or you can't think that, or it's not possible, or whatever it is. And then I have to struggle in my head. So I have to disobey this inner voice, if I can say. I'm not used to say that, but like if there was someone else I had to disobey in my own head. That what makes things appear difficult, because it's obviously an illusion, because there's no one to fight, to struggle with in my head. There's nobody. So I think here is the illusion of, there's something, that appear to be difficult, but which cannot be difficult, because there's nobody in my head. So obviously when I realize that, it makes me wanting to be more aware of, hey, what am I doing? Why am I struggling in my head? Why am I nervous? External things are external things. I know how they are, and at one given time I just take them like they are. I make choices to how to behave, what to do, what role to play, okay, with the external people, situations, whatever, and then happens what happens. Okay, I do my best in this situation, I see what happens, and that's it. So now what is in my head? Am I okay with myself? Do I agree with myself? Am I just fine with what I have in my head? And the answer most of the time is no, not at all. I'm struggling, and I feel like I have to overcome things in my head. So I come back also to a previous conclusion, that the less I fight, the easier it is, and And obviously I don't have to fight because there's no one to fight with, there's nobody in my head, and I shouldn't fight. I just have to take my decision to focus on what I want, and that's it. So that's really how to say, like if what I was imagining, thinking, my decisions, my choices in my head are going to obviously to change things outside, but I'm always experimenting always already in my head, like if it was making me struggling with the external world, which is not truth. Not at the time I'm struggling in my head, because most of the time there's nothing around, nothing is happening, and that's no reason to be stressed or to struggle. Or, it's really in my head, so it's just imagination of what could happen or things like that. Okay, so here is what I realized. Here is where I'm focusing today, and what I see, how it's crazy and how it's just not true. It's just my imagination in a way, and what seems to be difficult is just a false struggle in my head against nobody and nothing. Okay, so that's basically, I tried to explain exactly how I was feeling all that. It's not necessarily easy, but it's really what happens, because if I say, hey, what is difficult? What is the problem right now? That's no problem, that's nothing. I'm on my own, let's say I'm on my own, and who do you want to fight or to struggle with, or with what situation? There's nothing. Okay, so that's one big realization, that all the time here is the problem, and so obviously just my imagination, and there's no problem. Okay, I will finish with that today, and I will come back on that because there are things to add. So after that, what do we do and what do we have to change? But I will continue on that certainly tomorrow. Thank you, have a great day, I'll see you tomorrow.